So, can you grow a bonsai without using any potting mix? Yes, you can, and today I'm gonna show you how. So, what do we have here today? I've got this nice little pot and this very nice volcanic rock. This is a volcanic rock. I'm sorry about that. You can see it's very cool. The rock isn't tied to the pot. I just wedged it in there because it's always better to leave room for mistakes. So I can pull it out at some point and change the pot, maybe even plant it in a bigger pot with substrate, with potting mix. But for now, I'm not. You can see it's quite empty. So we got some holes here and there left, and okay, it's empty. So let's get to work. So actually this is take two because I brought in another tree because I wanted to use this little fellow here, but the roots weren't developed pretty well because this is a ficus microcarpa and that is a ficus benjamina. The microcarpa, it's better. It's a more high quality tree than the benjamina, but this grows roots so much faster. So I'm pretty sure this will have developed roots. It also has this crooked trunk like this, and maybe that's better and we will find a better placement on the rock for that shape. So of course, first of all, we're gonna remove the tree from the pot and see if we can work with this tree. Yeah, it looks a lot better. Much more developed roots. But we'll see. Because if I cannot use this tree, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to finish the project today. So we need to clean the roots. You know, I'm gonna be aggressive, but in the same time, I'm gonna be careful, of course. So what I want here is a pretty naked root, because I don't want to use potting mix, and we're gonna see if we can manage to do that. Even though I don't want to use any potting soil mix, I still do not want to wash the roots. Okay, so I'm gonna try to clean them pretty good. And if I do not manage to do that, then I can consider to wash them. But let's try to make this happen without washing the roots. You do not want to wash the roots. So I can, on this juvenile tree, I can do that, but I'm always avoiding that because that's a huge mistake. You're washing down all the microorganisms, all the nutrients, everything, you're washing it down. You're stressing the tree very heavily. So that's why you do not want to wash the roots. So, but in our case, we'll see. Little by little. There's something big here, I can feel it. I think it's kind of the taproot, because this was propagated by me from a bigger tree. So yeah, it's got a huge root here, a taproot, and I'm just going to try to cut it. Yeah, you can see So I got my little fellow here. Try to clean some more of this soil, and I think we're fine. I'm gonna leave just a little bit of soil on it. Okay, I'm gonna put it aside. I'm gonna clean all this mess up and we'll see what we can do. So we're gonna take a little rock here and look for a decent front of the rock. I don't know, maybe something like this. We're gonna be able to turn it around. This is too flat here. This is too pointy here. I don't know, maybe something like this. And I'm gonna take the tree and try to find a way for me to place it on this rock. So I think I need to get this cleaned up a little better, because this stump right here is getting in my way. So let's see now. Still getting in my way, but so it sits pretty good on this right now, on this rock, but I'm not liking the, I don't know, the angle. It's got nothing to do with something beautiful. So I'm gonna keep moving it around. And if I place it like this, nope. If I place it like this, so I finally found good position for it. I'm gonna tie it using a wire, because unfortunately there is no other way. Okay, I'm gonna secure the wire, the tree with the wire pretty tightly. Let me just, I need one more hand here. I only got two, which is kind of cool, but alrighty. I'm trying not to break the wire. Yeah, it's gonna break. I can feel it. It already has, but it is secured. So next, I want to prune all of these very long roots and try to also put some roots on the other side so they can grow kind of all over the pot, the rock, sorry. And I'm gonna prune these roots that grow down, because I don't want the roots growing in my pot. I think they will eventually grow there, but I don't want to help them grow into my pot, which contains nothing. So next up, I'm gonna take some sphagnum moss. This is dead, dried up sphagnum moss, which I kind of kept it humid. I'm gonna water it some more, and now I'm gonna try. It needs a lot more water, so here I go. Okay, and now I'm gonna try to stick it to the rock. It should stick, but I'm not going to stick it all. I don't want to cover all of this rock. It needs even more water. This was pretty dry, so it absorbed the water. So I'm gonna just stick it all over where I see my roots. And even a little more, because the roots will grow, of course, and they need to grow into something. So I'm gonna avoid the lower part of the rock. So even though I have roots here and there, I want to avoid that part. I also want to cover this wire, which I can remove, I don't know, in about a year or something like that. I've got some little roots here and there on the other side, so I'm also going to cover them with this sphagnum moss, just like that. So you're gonna need a volcanic rock. I think you can find this. I got this from a friend of mine. It came from Italy, so yeah, it's from a real volcano. But I think you can find this in the pet shops, in aquarium sections, in decent aquarium sections, because okay, you can find all sorts of rocks, but you will need this type of volcanic rock, because you'll see why. I'm gonna tell you at the end. Stick around and you'll see. So I'm gonna put quite a lot. I want my rock to show here and there, but in this stage it's a little bit tricky. Okay, so it's better if I just kind of do a good job. We need the tree also to be healthy. Okay, so more here on the top. I will be able to clean the rock in the future, so here and there you can see some parts of the rock, hopefully. So let's get to the next stage. So the next step is, of course, we're gonna put in some green, nice, very nice and green moss. I'm gonna leave it in, I'm gonna try to leave it in like big chunks. I don't think I'm gonna manage to do that, but we're gonna try at least. Because what I can do, you'll see, I can tie it to the pot using some string, some sewing string. I've got some green sewing string, but we'll see if that is necessary. It's sticking pretty well, but we'll see. Gotta also have some grass growing out of it, which is kind of nice. I can prune it shorter if I want to. So the reason that I use that sphagnum moss, because the tree doesn't need that. This rock is enough, okay? But if I didn't use sphagnum moss, I couldn't stick the little tiny roots to the pot, and that's a bummer. So I need to use it, and I'm pushing this moss very hard on this potting mix, and I'm not sure I need to tie it. So if you're gonna ask me where I got this moss, I got it yesterday from outside. You can find it anywhere. Just look for moss that grows on concrete, on cement, on rocks. Don't use moss that grows on the earth, on the soil, no, because you're gonna put it on pretty much an organic, like this rock or substrate or whatever you're using, bonsai soil, which is highly anorganic, and you don't want to use moss that's stabilized, that's pretty much used to dirt, okay? So you can pretty much be careful, and a lot of the times if you use things that you must correlate things, okay? This is the secret in bonsai. You must correlate things and try to build stuff that's pretty much the same as it is in nature, okay? So I think I'm almost done here. Yeah, I'm gonna use some I think I'm gonna use some string. I don't know. Does it sit? I think it sits because I left it with some dirt. I didn't wash the lower part, the dirt off. And it looks like it wants to stick. Also, the sphagnum moss will help propagate the green moss because green moss doesn't have a root. So green moss just has these little hooks and they cling on to stuff, and they usually cling on to dead moss. Okay, so it's pretty much a very good idea to put dead moss underneath green moss, so you provide the habitat in which it grows. So now, given the fact that we've pruned a lot of the root system, I'm gonna need to prune the top of this tree because it's out of balance big time. So it's out of balance big time. We need to prune the roots to get it back into balance. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna prune it pretty heavy because we also prune the roots pretty heavily, and we also don't want a very big tree on this tiny rock. So we don't want the tree to be a lot bigger than the rock itself. So just going to prune it like this once, and let me take a look of here. I'm always looking for buds. I told you always with fucuses you have to leave at least 2 buds growing there. So I kinda got this main trunk here, kinda like that. This is way too long. I'm gonna prune it back. I have a bud here that can grow like that, and I'm gonna prune it right here, make it smaller. As you can see, I've left a stub here. We're gonna clear that up, but not now. Also, I wanted to get rid of some of these sucker leaves so we can see the composition better, even though it will look quite scarce. I'm gonna prune off these sucker leaves so we can have a good amount of light. Also, there's a little branch here that's growing right up like that, so I can prune that off. I think I have a, oh no, that was the sacrificial branch. So I don't know, I'm not liking that one. I can wire it down at some point. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it like this for now, just for now. Prune this off. So this is the final result. I quite like it. I'm gonna put it at a little bit of an angle like this. I don't know, kinda like that. And how is this tree gonna survive, you ask? Because I'm not gonna water it. I'm not going to spray water like this to wear it. Maybe at first to help out this green moss stabilize, but I'm not going to water it like that. Instead, what I'm going to do is this. So you can see the water level there, okay? That's why this spot hasn't got any holes into it. And what will happen now is that all of this rock will absorb that water and distribute it all around its surface. So that's why I've told you need this volcanic rock. This is very, very efficient in doing that, just like your volcanic rock when you make bonsai potting mixes. It's gonna get wet all over, little by little. It's gonna absorb all of that water, and it's gonna keep everything nice and moist. It's gonna keep the green moss moist. It's gonna keep the roots moist. Only when I will need to fertilize the tree, because I will need to fertilize the tree, I'm gonna use, I don't know, a sprayer. I'm gonna put some liquid fertilizer, spade, onto the roots so it can get nutrients. So this is our little bonsai planted on a rock. This is not just going to survive, it's gonna thrive, I guarantee it. We didn't use any potting mix, none at all. It's just sitting on that rock. And if you like this video, you're gonna love the next one. Bye bye.